So, is World War III the realistic squad play FPS you've been searching for? Is this the closed beta that's worth buying into, especially considering that when the game releases it's going to be free to play? Now, during my initial access, there is a lot of good, with a bit of bad that you need to take into account, and maybe you know nothing about the game and just have heard some of the hype around it, or maybe you're well aware of the game, just not sure if you're ready to take the leap. No matter where you stand, this video will simply and effortlessly show you the most important features, pros, and cons that you need to know so that you can make the decision for yourself. Let's get to it.
Player 2 has entered the game.
Now, if more World War III content would really just butter your biscuit, consider subscribing. Regardless of what I say about the game in this video, I have lots of content planned to help you get better at the game, as well as a full Discord of World War III players so you can find some veterans to squad up with. Link for that is in the description below. And if you haven't already noticed, this video is time-stamped into organized sections so that you can skip around at your own convenience. Now, the first thing that we have to get out of the way is what World War III is. The game is a team-based FPS tactical shooter with progression based in points that you earn in matches that can be used to unlock new weapons, attachments, and strikes, which are similar to kill streaks that can be deployed to shift the momentum of the match, using points earned from various endeavors in the game. Now, my use of the word tactical, as in tactical shooter, should be taken with a grain of salt. I use that word because while the gameplay loop is very similar to something like Battlefield or Call of Duty, there are many realistic features the game portrays that make the game and gunplay run more like Squad or Tarkov, which we're going to dive deeper into here shortly, because I think they've done it in a way that really works for inclusion of all players. Now, World War III is currently in its closed beta point in development. It's running for $15 on Steam for access to the closed beta. The open beta is due around March. When it drops, the game is going to be free to play. But if you're watching this, it's safe to assume that you aren't one to wait. I'm guessing patience ain't one of your virtues, Daddy. So before we discuss the wild in-game features, let's look at the settings. Typically, the topic of settings would just be a boring filler just so a YouTuber can get more watch time, which of course I would never partake in. But World War III has actually added a few cool little details that I think are worthy of attention. You can have it set to where hit markers will reflect different colors depending on what they hit. The default is headshots hit as red, armor shots are blue. We'll talk more about armor here in a second as well. And any other normal hit shows as white. But these are fully interchangeable. You can have these colors set to whatever you prefer. You're also able to customize the colors for vehicle hits, your squad mates' color, your team, and of course the enemy. It's simple. It really is. But it's something I haven't seen in a game I've never seen them go into that much depth before. Now that you've had your veggies, let's get to the meat. The content. So as of the current beta build, World War III offers 2 game modes and 6 maps. For the game modes, you have the standard team deathmatch where lobby sizes of up to 20 players kill each other till either the score limit reaches 50 or the timer runs out. There's going to be 3 rounds to give each team multiple opportunities to win. Next, there's tactical ops, which is more like Conquest in Battlefield, where you have to control certain locations. The more locations your team has, the faster you gain points. Whichever team gets to 5,000 first wins, or when the timer runs out of the 30 minutes, the top team takes it. This is all the game currently offers when it comes to game modes, so while they of course plan to add more, that is something you need to consider before you buy today. Though the game going stale due to lack of content is a complete non-issue in my opinion with this game. While there's only 2 game modes, the progression system they have built in is stout. At first glance, you'll notice it's very similar to Battlefield in that you can craft different types of loadouts to fill different roles in your squad, effectively giving players the opportunity to make builds to face anything the opposite team may throw at them, whether it's land or air vehicles, explosives, enemy snipers, etc. In fact, as far as I can tell, World War III is meant to be played with squads of 5. I mean, this loadout system caters completely to squad builds, and many of the challenges you need to do to gain XP and XP boosts are cooperatively based. So once again, If you do not have a squad, we have several players grouping up and playing together in our Discord, as well as discussing tactics on how to play better. Link will always be in the description below if you need it. But at any rate, the loadouts consist of super in-depth variations of primary weapons, secondary weapons, armor plating, gadgets, secondary gadgets, and a backpack. This is where we get into the customization. This is one of the major parts of World War III that I think they are doing better than any other FPS team shooter in the genre. Not to mention the realistic gunplay, but we'll get to that next. So when it comes to customization, this game takes the cake. So what I'm showing you here is the progression of the MSBS assault rifle. This is the attachment unlocks for one gun. Every single gun in game, handguns, SMGs, shotguns, snipers, even RPGs, have attachment unlocks that are exclusive and unique to that weapon, as well as different ammo types. And we're only in the closed beta, not even in the open beta yet. Now when it comes to armor plating, you're going to have 3 options for chest armor: Kevlar, ceramic, and steel. They're unlocked in ascending order from least protection to the most, and for balanced gameplay, the more protection they offer, the less mobility your character will have. For helmets, it's the same concept but with only the options of Kevlar and titanium. Next is your gadgets, which further adds to the role within your squad. I mean, you have med packs, equipment packs that replenish your grenades and other players' gadgets, ammo packs that restore you and your team's ammo, and armor packs that, of course, repair damaged armor. Then your backpack, which is something new that I've never seen in a game's loadout before. This allows you to bring an additional attachment as well as an extra gadget. This is one of the first features I noticed before hopping into my first game mode that made me think, this game really takes itself more seriously than your average run and gun FPS and functions more like a tactical shooter, which brings us to what has me most excited for the World War III development, and that is the gameplay. The realistic features, the gunplay, the strikes, vehicles, all of it. And while the gameplay does have me excited, it also is where we run into our first problems that may hold you back from buying the game today. Let's start with the matchmaking. Solo, I've had almost 0 issues, but attempting to load in with a team has been a little tricky. We get into a game about 50% of the time, the other half we get kicked during the load-in screen, or we wait for a really long time to get in. Though we found an easy fix for that, you just have to switch the squad leader and then reattempt, and then you hop right into a match. This is a networking issue that shouldn't really take too much time to iron out, hopefully. So it's not very high on my radar, but it's definitely something that you should be aware of. Once you hop into the match, you pick your loadout, and if you're playing from Team Deathmatch, you just deploy to a random location. If you're playing Tactical Ops, you can spawn in on one of the capture zones, or you can spawn in on any player in your squad that is not in active combat, very similar to Battlefield. Now the gunplay and damage system is one of the most well done I've personally seen in the genre. It's not too realistic, where there's so many attachments, major ergonomics, loads of medical systems, countless types of ammo and armors, where it's going to frustrate the casual gamer. But it's also not Bambi-style visionless progress coupled with lazy gunplay made for little pot-belly goblins. When you shoot for the first time in World War III, you'll notice you'll miss some of the shots. Without the proper attachments to adjust and improve your recoil, ADS speed, and other important factors, your weapon will actually not function as well as players who do have those attachments equipped and unlocked, which is exactly what the AAA top cats just can't ever seem to get right when it comes to the FPS team shooter genre. The dev team has created their gunplay in a way where the attachments won't be a minor difference. They can change everything about a gun and make you extremely accurate once you've earned it, linking back to the importance of progression in game. And then on top of that, they've made the customization option so fast that the progression will actually take some time. Man, they really have the right ingredients to make some waves in the genre. And the damage system is fantastic as well. You see where you were hit after every time you were killed, and you can see how much damage was caused to that body part. Of course, most damage is to the head, then the body, and any armor of the head or body will detract from that. you will be running into players with different types of builds, wearing varying tiers of armor. There's another reason why you should be playing in a squad. If a steel armored player comes up and you're rocking an SMG, your round won't even penetrate. But if you got a buddy who's an old heavy hitter yelling "get some" while firing a light machine gun, he can step up to the plate to eat through that steel. The vehicles are numerous. The driving can be a little clunky here and there, but nothing major. You have tanks and little buggies, all sorts of different vehicles that you can ride around. Strikes are extra abilities you can use with points you gain from killing players on the enemy team, to be clear. You can also gain them from capturing zones and destroying vehicles. These strikes vary from UAVs to drone machine gun vehicles that will light you up. Don't know how many times I've died to one of those bad boys. They also are only active on tactical ops, strikes that is. Team deathmatch is just for some ground infantry warfare. Now, with all this good, there has to be a little bad, right? Luckily, the only issues that I've noticed personally in game are the clunkiness when it comes to any form of vaulting. I mean, whether that's hopping on a box, jumping through a window, or just a short wall. Jumping over objects is a hit or miss in the current state of the development. And the last one is the audio effects. This one, I have to admit, is pretty bad. I mean, listen to the sound of running. Yeah, the running's pretty weird. It just sounds so sped up. It's impossible to tell where other players are coming from as well. You'll hear someone walking right next to you and it sounds like they're down the hall, or you'll hear gunshots that you would assume are right on top of you, but they're actually like 50 feet away. It's very odd, and it's off-putting, and something I'm hoping and praying they're going to be fixing soon. Now, with all of that out in front of you, is World War III, the closed beta, worth the $15 to play it now, or do you think that you'll just wait till March for free to play? Or does it look like George Washington's teeth and you're just not interested in it at all? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below so we can converse like a couple humans. Then check out these World War III tip videos coming up right now.